Terrace farming is a type of farming that is well acquainted with the Inka people. Through the use of this technique, the Incas were able to live in the hills of the Andes Mountains in South America. This method of farming uses steps called andines, named after the Andes Mountains, that are built into the side of a mountain or hill. This type of landscaping, therefore, is called terracing. The terraces were built to make the most efficient use of shallow soil and to enable irrigation of crops. On each step, various crops were planted, and when it rains, instead of washing away all of the nutrients in the soil, the nutrients are then carried down to the next level. Additionally, these steps prevent a free-flowing avalanche of water that would take plants with it and destroy all of the crops on the hillside. Terrace farming has been used for over 1,000 years to farm potatoes, corn, and other native crops. The Inca built on the previous system that was already established, developing a series of canals, aqueducts, and also puquillos, I'm definitely pronouncing that wrong, but these allowed for water to be brought to arid desert areas and directed water through dry land and increased fertility, as well as carried water to each step. These terrace farms are found wherever mountain villages have existed in the Andes. Inca farmers had to rely more on manual tools than domesticated animals when tending to the platforms, due to the hilly terrain and limited area for each farm. Some of the tools that were used included a chaki-takla, a foot plow consisting of a wooden pole with a curved sharp point, often made of stone or metal. Across the end of this pole ran another wooden crossbar, on which the farmer could put his foot to sink it into the earth to create a furrow, or a long narrow trench in the ground for planting seeds or for irrigation purposes. Another tool is the Rawk'ana, a hoe with a thin sheet of wood of chachacuma, no higher than 40 centimeters. It was used to harvest tubers, such as potatoes, to remove weeds, and to sow small seeds. Incas also used a tool called a Rawk'ana, a Quechua term for a clod buster, breaking up balls of soil to make sure that water was able to absorb easier. These tools have been used by Andean farmers for thousands of years. Now, in terms of the terraces, these terraces were divided up into 3 parts. One part went to the aristocracy, another went to the religious establishment, and the last was actually for the farmers themselves, who were obliged to farm for all 3 groups based on the class system and how the land was divided up. Terrace farming provided the food that was necessary to support the populations of the great Inca cities and religious centers such as Machu Picchu. These advancements in agriculture would not have been possible without the workforce that created the Inca road system. The network was based on 2 north-south roads with numerous branches. Part of the road network was built by cultures that preceded the Inca Empire, actually, notably the Wari culture, where presumably the Incas also adopted the terrace farming techniques from. The Incas were able to just build upon the previous system that was already established, and the system allowed for political cohesion throughout the Inca state, through trade, transport, as well as religious gatherings, as some mountains could only be climbed by certain roads. Military operations were also on the roads, such as tolls on bridges, or stations for quick assembly of forces around storage houses. Terrace cultivation has not only just been used in the Andes exclusively, but it has been practiced all over the world. Terrace farming has also been used in places such as China, Japan, the Philippines, other areas of Southeast Asia, around the Mediterranean, and in parts of Africa for centuries, growing specific crops, specifically things like rice. Systems, including the aqueduct system that was developed by the Incas in the Andes, have been actually built so well that even today they are still used by the current inhabitants. It is also believed that if terrace farming techniques were put into practice on a larger scale today than they previously are, and readopted, They would solve the nutritional problems of different peoples around the globe for many decades, further emphasizing the importance and the effectiveness of terrace farming techniques.